My message today comes from the Old Testament book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verses 1 through 31. In the beginning of your Bible, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And we're going to look at Deuteronomy chapter 4. Beginning in the first verse. Now, O Israel, listen to the statutes and judgments which I am teaching you to perform, so that you may live and go in the land and take possession of the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, is giving you. You shall not add to the word which I am commanding you, nor shall you take away from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord has done in the case of Baal Peor. For all the men who followed Baal Peor, the Lord your God destroyed them from among you. But you who held fast to the Lord your God are alive today, every one of you. See, I have taught you statutes and judgments, just as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do this in the land where you are entering to possess it. So keep and do them, for it is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the peoples, who will hear all of these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what great nation is there that has a God so near to it as the Lord our God, whenever we call on him? Or what great nation is there that has statutes and judgments as righteous as this whole law which I am setting before you today? Only give heed to yourself and keep your soul diligently, so that you do not forget the things which your eyes have seen, and they do not depart from your heart all the days of your life, but make them known to your sons and your grandsons. Remember the day you stood before the Lord your God at Horeb, when the Lord said to me, assemble the people to me, that I may let them hear my words, so they may learn to fear me all the days they live on the earth, and that they may teach to their children. You came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the very heart of the heavens, darkness, cloud, and thick gloom. Then the Lord spoke to you from the midst of the fire, and you heard the sound of words, but you saw no form, only a voice. So he declared to you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, that is, the 10 commandments, and he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach your statutes and judgments, that you might perform them in the land where you are going in order to possess it. So watch yourselves carefully, since you did not see any form on the day of the Lord spoke to you at Horeb from the midst of the fire, so that you do not act corruptly and make a graven image for yourselves in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any animal that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the sky, the likeness of anything that creeps upon the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the water below the earth. And beware, and do not lift your eyes to heaven, and see the sun and the moon and the stars, and all the host of heaven, and be drawn away and worship them and serve them, those which the Lord your God has allotted to all people under the whole heaven. But the Lord has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace from Egypt, to be a people for his own possession, as today. Now the Lord was angry with me on your account, and swore that I would not cross the Jordan, that I would not enter the good land which the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance. For while I die in this land, I shall not cross the Jordan, but you shall cross and take possession of this good land. So watch yourselves, that you do not forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and made for yourselves a graven image in the form of anything against the Lord your God has commanded you. For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. When you become the father of children and children's children, and have remained long in the land, and act corruptly, and make an idol in the form of anything, and do that which is evil in the sight of the Lord your God, so as to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today, that you will surely perish quickly from the land where you are going over the Jordan to possess. You shall not live long on it, but you will be utterly destroyed. The Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and you will be left few in number among the nations where the Lord drives you. There you will serve gods and work on man's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor eat nor smell. But from there you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find him if you search for him with all your heart and all your soul. And when you are in distress, and all these things have come upon you in the latter days, you will return to the Lord your God, and he will listen to his voice. For the Lord your God is a compassionate God. He will not fail you, nor destroy you, nor forget the covenant with your fathers, which he swore to them. May the Lord bless the reading of his word. I know that was kind of a long passage there in Deuteronomy. But the gist of what Moses here is writing to the people of Israel as they're getting ready to go and take possession of the land of the promise that God has promised to them. He, of course, will not be going with them. He is soon to pass away. The Lord has already revealed to him. But he encourages them to go on and to remember the Lord and do not forget. Do not forget the Lord. Here it is, the first day of the new year. And one of the things we often do, you see in our world as we come to the end of the year, you'll see a reflection on 2022 or whatever year it is. And you'll hear recaps of all the important news stories of the past year, all the things that happened. There'll be lists of celebrities and famous people who died, Queen Elizabeth, or just the other day, the former Pope Benedict, and the list of many, many celebrities. I'm always surprised at how many people on those lists that I recognize. But it's in a time of reflection. And as we look to enter a new year, just as the people of Israel were getting ready to enter a new phase in their life in the promised land, Moses calls them to reflect and not to forget. Because, as it was said by the Alfred Lord Tennyson in his classic work, The Death of Author, it is the doom of mankind that they forget. Those who forget their history are bound to repeat it. You've heard that before? Yeah. Sometimes we forget, but we really shouldn't. Now that I'm past 50 and have a little bit more span of life that I've gone through. My wife and I, we were looking through, found some old photographs of stuff as we were cleaning, and my wife said, "I don't remember this." We got pictures. I don't remember this us doing, and this was a couple weeks ago. I don't remember exactly what it was we were looking at. But yeah, she like, well, I remembered us doing wherever we were. We took the pictures. She was like, no, I totally don't remember that. And That happens. It can be something slight like that, or it can be a more horrible thing to forget, especially as many of our friends and loved ones reach the final stages of their life and the body and the mind begin to fail. Unfortunately, many of us have had relatives that in their final years suffered from Alzheimer's or dementia, and many of the great and sad moments of their life were lost to them. Just yesterday, as I was with my mom, who comes in and out of lucidity, sometimes she's fine and clear, and sometimes she wonders who even I am. But yesterday, we had a sad moment when she had woken up from a nap yesterday morning, and she called for her dog, Tippy. Tippy's been gone 7 years now since he passed away. But she didn't remember that he wasn't anymore. And I told her, and then she remembered, and the sadness and grief came back. But sometimes, even though there's sadness that we want to forget, we mustn't ever forget the good things. You know, I have learned a few things in my 5 decades about life and love and God that I should not forget. We should not forget what God has done for us. I know in my own life, there's been times where